Hey guys, Shinra013 back again with another episode of the Anime Filter. I'm a little bit excited because this time I'm covering one of my all-time favourite animes, My Goddess. Now this is quite an old one, but we'll touch more on that later. Probably one of the things that appeals most to me about it is just its general style and feel. I'll start off with some plot points. Keiichi, our main character, is a very sort of average guy, but if anything's out of the norm with him, it's that he's overly nice. I mean, he does his best to be considerate and caring of others, and that makes him, well, for me at least, incredibly relatable. And it just seems that nothing in life really goes his way. People take advantage of him, he's constantly sort of like the one left out, feeling a bit like an outsider the whole time. And so the theme is heaven takes pity on him and all of his good karma comes back around and he ends up with a goddess coming to grant him any wish he wants. But speaking with her, he's so impressed that she seems to notice and appreciate him that the only thing he could think of is, wow, I wish I could have someone like you around. And so begins our saga. This incredibly, I guess you would say, perfect goddess of a woman is now spending time in developing a relationship with our main character and fitting into the normal world from the supposed heaven that she came from. Another thing that I really like about it is that it is, from its era, a very gentle romance. I mean, it's nothing too advanced, there's next to nothing in the way of eroticism. It's all very kosher, above board, sort of safe family watching, and at the same time they still maintain a great level of interest and entertainment. And if you're any sort of romantic, you will love this series. Some people classify it also as a little bit of a harem, because as this goddess is now staying with Keiichi on Earth, some of her sisters decide to come, and she's got an elder sister who tries to hurry the relationship along, a younger sister who wants it to end, and so as you can imagine, poor Keiichi ends up with this crowd of women that he is then helping look after in the real world while trying to continue his university degree and deal with life, as it were. But what speaks so well of the character that they built for him is that he never takes it as a burden. It's always sort of, oh, I've got this to deal with now as well. No, it's okay, I'll carry on. It also has very little in the way of fan service. I mean, there are subtle hints and very beautiful dresses and done up anime characters, but as a whole there is, again, nothing below board or cringeworthy at all in it, and there doesn't need to be to hold an audience, and that's what I really appreciate about it as an older anime, is that it's more about the characters and developing it than fan service. There are, well, it is that old that there are sort of, I want to say, 3 versions of it now. There's the original series, which is fantastic. You will find it incredibly hard to come by just because of its age now. There was then a OVA they did, which I'll get to that last actually. Then there was a sort of reboot they did of it called Flights of Fancy. Now the original series and Flights of Fancy are on my absolute recommendations for this title. They are by far the best watches, and while there are, of course, crossovers since it is a reboot of the series, there is also a lot of new adventures and characters in each of their own respective titles. So definitely, if you can find either of those, they're well worth watching. The OVA, to me, was a real letdown. They tried to compress it all into 6 or 8 episodes, and it really spoiled it. It took away from the development. It just about completely changed how you viewed Keiichi as a character. He was a lot more blunt rather than cautious and subtle. So yeah, I would avoid that. But otherwise, the original series, Flights of Fancy, and also they did a movie to round out the original series, or Flights of Fancy even, that sort of could have tied in at the end of either one, which was reasonable and did sort of make a nice sort of final chapter for it. So all in all, I rated a 9 out of 10. Primarily, of course, on the original and Flights of Fancy series and to the movie as well. However, now comes the really bad news. With its age, it is next to impossible for us to get any DVD, well, Blu-ray's non-existent, or VHS, as scary as that sounds, of it. You can possibly pick some up second-hand, but I have not found any new supplier that's picked it up since Bandai dropped it. And to me that's a real shame, because it really does set a good standard that I'd love to see come back in the majority of anime. And if you do manage to get your hands on a copy in New Zealand, Australia, UK region, let me know, because I have not had any luck searching through suppliers and trolling the internet. The only ones I've found are American, Chinese region, and it might just be my personal taste, but I like having something that will play on any New Zealand player. So yeah, that's my review. Hope you guys found it helpful. If you did, give me a like so I know. And if you want to see what else may be coming up, subscribe, because I'll keep doing this until that entire wall's done. Thanks.